What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash. In today's video we're gonna be talking about a very exciting thing. So we're gonna be talking about finally the new info of the new 3 anniversary legends of 7 anniversary into the JP version of the game. Now you might think if you're a global player that doesn't affect, but it's actually a massive thing because it helps to see what the meta in PvP wise is, and you're gonna be able to see if a unit loses value or not. So I think that's actually a really good thing to keep in mind, like the new units that JP gets, so that you can plan where you want to pull or not. And I'm gonna be making a video about that definitely, but we're gonna be talking about the units. So I'm showing you, I'm sure you guys have seen it, but here are the artworks of the 3 new legends. So Luffy is a quick based legend, well, at least in PvP. Then Law is a Dex legend, and Kid is a Strength one. So actually, all 3 of them are actually really good in the normal game. But I'm sure you have seen videos in which they explain the abilities and stuff in the PvE, and they are all amazing, by the way. So definitely go check out the info of those units. But today I want to talk about finally the info of PvP and what they do in PvP. So this is actually have been announced just like 10 minutes ago, so it's all pretty raw information. So I don't have like a real clear complete information, and there's some things, at least in the law, that it's difficult to understand what it means. But here we go. So Luffy, as I said, is a quick unit, and his passive, and here it says ability, it's HP at level 5 to quick, very good. Own HP at level 5, also really nice. And here it's kind of funny because curious, because it says when your ally is knocked back, own attack up level 5. So I'm assuming that this means that whenever one ally is knocked back, Luffy will get each time level 5 attack up. I think it's pretty clear, I think. So yeah, and then when remaining time is 70 or less, he will massively give speed to quick. So that's really good. Kind of a shame that it's not since the start of the battle, but yeah, I mean, really nice anyway. Then the special on a 26 CT, so actually that's really low. He will buff by a lot his own attack for 5 seconds, but that's basically just to deal more damage with a special. And then he will give 2 times attack in a large range. So large range is basically a radial range, so that's really good range. And I mean, yeah, not always, but it's most definitely almost every time gonna be hitting almost all of the enemy units. So that's a very good range. It's the same as B2 Kaido, and B2 Kaido, let me tell you, it's actually really good in PvP. And then he will apply haste to 2 quick allies by 70% chance. That is actually really amazing. So the only other unit that has the haste ability is the Magellan, and the quick Magellan. And Magellan is actually really nice, and he will give, the Magellan will give 100% chance to haste himself, and a 50% chance to haste another quick unit. But the thing is that the haste in the Magellan itself, I don't think it's that significant, because he already has launched a special. So when he attacks again, it's just a normal attack that, yeah, it can deal some damage, it can delay some unit, and it's really nice, but it's not game changing. But the haste on the other unit, that's another story, because if, for example, he gives haste to Kaido, for example, in a quick team, and Kaido has the special fully charged, then that will be game changing, because that will mean that with all the defense down from Magellan, then Kaido activates, gives more defense down and massive attack. So that's why Quick is basically destroying everything, because it's so good. But the haste is only 50%, and granted, it's not every time that the haste is effective. It's gonna be to a B2 Kaido with a special ready and stuff like that. It can be to another unit, or maybe that unit doesn't have the special ready. So yeah, but the fact that Luffy will apply haste to 2 quick allies, and I'm assuming that by allies means that he cannot target himself. So you only have to count in general 4 other units if you're using a quick team. So the chance of him applying haste to a unit that is about to activate is actually really high. Also because it's 70% chance instead of a 50% chance that Magellan has. So I think he's gonna be really really amazing in a quick team. I don't know yet what unit probably is he gonna be replacing. I'm my first thought was Magellan because of this haste thing, but it could be some other unit because Magellan is really really good also for the defense down and stuff like that. But yeah, the well here it says passive, but it's like the ability that he has, the immunity it's called. He will resist special silence, special bind, so that's a pretty stock standard in a lot of the good PvP units that have been coming out lately. And then he will reduce 30% of damage taken from strength. Also pretty strong standard because these last legends have been getting some resistance to the opposite color. So yeah, and then yeah, the movement is normal. So actually, the info of the new Luffy has dropped officially. So here, there's nothing really new. The only thing that changes is actually that it's not knocked back. Whenever Nala is knocked back, Luffy gets attack up a level 5. It's when a unit is defeated. So that actually can be. It's a little bit worse because, for example, if it were knocked back, it would be a really really good counter, for example, to Capone crew teams, driven teams, and stuff like that. But well, I mean, it's nice because it's an attack up for the rest of the match, and then we also have the info of the defense stats and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of low defense, but I think he's quick, and in the meta, quick probably that's not gonna be that big of a problem. And then really really good speed. So yeah, but that's it. That's gonna be it for Luffy. I'm gonna talk first about Kit and then Law because Law is the one that it's very very difficult to understand what it means. But in case of the Kit, he's a strength legend, as I said, and I mean he's very very easy to understand what he does. His passive is actually quite underwhelming, to be honest, because he will just buff the attack of strength units by level 7. And yes, it's a lot, but only attack up, like right now, I think it could have been better. Maybe there's something missing there. I don't think so, but we'll have to see. But the special is pretty broken, so I mean I understand why they didn't want to do a lot with the passive because the special on a yeah granted kind of high cooldown, the same as Odin, but the thing is that he is striker driven, so there's not that massive special city up that Odin can get with being slasher. But yeah, 32-second cooldown, and he will ignore defense. So not only defense up buffs, but also base defense. I'm assuming, and then he will give deal damage 1.5 damage in a front medium range. So that has been edited actually because before it said small range, so that's even better. Front medium range, I think it's the same range that Rare Crit no Arashi has, and the range of a Rare Crit no Arashi is actually quite surprising because at first you think okay it's not gonna be matched, but the fact that it's front and not lateral, it's a lot of the time it's targeting some units in the back, so it's actually quite nice. Now I'm not sure now if the range of Rare Crit no Arashi is front medium range. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah, I mean the range is normal, and he will apply 1.5 times multiplier to those enemies, and he will ignore defense. So you might think okay that's not a lot of damage, but ignoring defense is actually quite crazy because let's just take into consideration, for example, Odin. Odin has a base attack of 3000 in general if you have with him rainbowed and limited break expanded and stuff like that. And then yes, he will get a lot of attack up, but let's say you're using Kid in a strength team. Let's say first of all the level 7 attack up is actually going to be around approximately 500 extra attack, so you're already at 3500. uh, let's just say that you have extra, I don't know, level 5 attack up, so that's an extra around, let's say it doesn't get to 400, but an extra 350 you have a little bit more than that. So you're close to having a unit with 4,000 attack. It depends. You can have more attacks, so you can have more. It's by the calculations that I have done, it doesn't get to 4,000, but the fact that you can do that, 1.5 of that attack ignoring defense is actually massive. It's like 6k damage just straight into the enemy units. They cannot block it with defense or anything, only with resistances to certain colors. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely quite broken. So if you use Kit right and you use him, for example, I would say with some special city up, with a lot of attack up, you can just wave clear the enemy side of the field. And also he will buff strength defense by level 3, so that's also really nice. Only 10 seconds, it's kind of low, but it's definitely really nice. And then, well, the passive, he doesn't resist special bind, which is kind of unfortunate, but he will resist action bind, so that's nice. And then he will reduce damage from Dex because, as I said, the opposite color, the latest units, they have been doing that to them. And then, yeah, the movement is normal. And then let's talk about law finally. By the way, I have seen that right now they have uploaded here, and that the three new legends are Super Sugo Fest exclusives. So I don't know how I feel about that. Probably I would recommend that you pull on those banners. I hope they don't do a separate banner for each of the legends. That would really suck because if you're unlucky and you have to get them guaranteed, that's a lot of gems that you have to spend, and probably you're not gonna have them. But at least the positive things is that probably you're gonna be able to pull Roger or Odin, so that's really nice. But yeah, so let's talk about Law. Law is a Dex unit, and he will buff the HP of Dex units by level 5, and then when remaining time is less than 70 seconds, defense up to Dex by level 5. So that's the same thing that Shanks Crew does, but only to Dex, Low will do. But yeah, it's a lot of defense up. It's kind of unfortunate that he won't give defense up at the very start of the battle, because a lot of the times Dex team, what's happening with the Dex team is actually that they are lacking a little bit of defense at the very start of the battle, and then at the late game they overwhelm you with defense. But if you can manage to deal a lot of damage very early into the game, um, you're probably gonna be able to beat them. So he doesn't really change that. It would have been nice that he had given some kind of defense buff at the very start. But yeah, so HP up it's nice. The defense up after 30 seconds is also really nice. And the special is the confusing thing. So his special is on a 25-second CT, and this I don't really understand because it says you and two Dex allies, so I'm assuming it means himself and two other Dex allies will be counter mode of 1.5 attack for 30 seconds. So I have no idea what that means. My first idea was like any special that deals 1.5 damage is countered, so it's nullified. But I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. Maybe it means that it's reducing the damage. That I don't know. Like I think it's some kind of counter to the enemy team. But like the only thing that I'm thinking about is that like any special that deals 1.5 is countered. But so that's obviously referring to the kit. I mean, it would make sense. It's kind of weird because not a lot of units are giving 1.5 damage apart from Legend Kit. So I don't know how useful that is. Obviously, against Legend Kit, it is, if that's it. But if it's some sort of any other thing that will counter something in the enemy team, so basically allow you to tank more damage, it's for 30 seconds, so that's really nice. So I don't know. Probably it's gonna be good, because it's a new unit and a new mechanic, I guess. But yeah, we'll have to see what that means. And then he will deal damage. He will deal 1.5 medium range damage, pretty stock standard. So and the passive will reduce damage from quick, obviously, and then he will ignore paralysis, which is kind of meh. So yeah, in my opinion, law, depending on what that counter mode means, it's kind of underwhelming, to be honest, the law. because only 1.5 damage. Yeah, the HP up is really good. I mean, he's a really good unit, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting some unit that could bring Dex more close to the meta quick or Psy or even Int or stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe he will get that, get to do that. So you never know, but we'll have to see. But my first impression is that plus he removes paralysis with the passive, while the other units remove the really annoying things like special bind or action bind, and he just removes paralysis, which isn't that annoying to be honest, because a lot of the times you're playing your team for the specials, not for the normal attack. So here I have also that has just been dropped the info of the law. Nothing really changed from what I explained, but we can see actually here the defense stat. So defense stat 220 is actually massive, so that's actually really nice. And the speed is actually kind of low, surprisingly, but well, I mean, the fact that he has really high defense means that he will be able to take more damage, which in turn will mean that he will most likely be easier to survive under the first. It will be easier for him to survive the first 30 seconds of the battle, so that's gonna allow him to activate the passive of the defense up to Dex. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Law. So we'll have to see what that Law does with that counter mode. But in my opinion, obviously Luffy is gonna be the new addition to the quick meta team, and the meta is not gonna change. So yeah, probably I'm gonna be recommending to pull on for the quick meta in PvP. But well, we're gonna have to see how he fits inside the quick team. But I'm assuming that he's gonna fit somewhere. So and he's really good and really that haste actually to two allies. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, and the kit. I don't know if it's the kit is gonna be able to bring strength to the meta, because there's a lot of strength, really good strength units like versus Ace, Odin, PvP limited rare recruit strength law, and other units, maybe Jack, even if you want to be more tanky. So the sweet commanders, but yeah, I don't know, because yeah, he will ignore the defense with his damage, but the other units are not of your team are not getting affected by that. So yeah, his special will ignore defense, but if you want to deal damage with another unit, he has not dealt any defense down or anything, you know. So the damage that your other units are dealing is still affected by the full defense up buffs of the enemy team. So you have not a single bit of help in that part. But I mean, he could definitely bring strength to a very good place. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna bring strength to the top. But yeah, we're gonna be have to see. Also because kit is strength and all the quick meta units are reducing strength damage by 30%, and that is not, at least I'm assuming, that is actually reducing the damage from the special of kit. So that's the only thing that's reducing the damage. But yeah, so let me know in the comment section down below what you think about these new units. I think they are all really good. I mean, depending on that law, but and I think all three of them are gonna influence on their own team or their own quote unquote meta team, like the quick team, the dex team, and the strength team. So we're gonna have to evaluate how the picture of PvP is after these three legends. I think my first impression is that quick is still gonna be the best, one of the best, if not the best. I think it's the best actually. Then Psy or Int, like they are kind of close if you count the addition of Moria and Legend Bonnie. So yeah, but I really like Psy. So I don't know. My first impression is that Psy is the second, and Dex and Strength are kind of close there. I think we will have to see with Law and Kid how this is affected. Right now, Dex is better than Strength, I think, but maybe something will change with this Legend Kid and Legend Law. So we're gonna have to be seeing that. But yeah, so let me know in the comment section down below what you think about these abilities and these legends. I'm gonna be talking about once we have all the information about yeah, again, about the units, but also making a video on where you should pull in the future, what teams are the most worth to pull for. Because for example, if you want to build a quick team, yeah, it's really really strong, but you have to pull for a crap ton of legends. So yeah, that's actually a kind of annoying thing. While for example in the side team, if you have a lot of the units that are currently available on global right now, you only have to pull on one Sukofest for the Enel and the Rebecca and Toy Soldier, and you're almost done. So I don't know. There's these little differences that, and I want to make a video talking about them and recommending, depending on the number of gems that you want to spend in certain Sugar Fest, if you're free to play or not, where it's gonna be the most worth to pull. Because maybe it's not worth to pull for only one quick legend if you can only pull for one of them, you know. So yeah, as I said, let me know in the comment section what you think about all this stuff. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.